All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Dima Khoury with Compass in Burlingame. So today is November 28th, and I hope that you all had an amazing, warm, and safe Thanksgiving. And today we're going to go through the real estate market update and how the market was doing during Thanksgiving week. And we're going to see some changes in the numbers and activities. And I'm also going to get into some details about the forbearance market in the US and whether and to answer the questions of people who are asking whether there will be a foreclosure market or not. So let's see what the numbers are saying up until this moment. So to start with, I always start with the mortgage rates, interest rates. We're still at a very low point. We're at 2.81. Some of the buyers are getting 2.78. So we're at a really good level of interest rates. And this means that the purchase power of the buyers is still really strong. If you are a buyer and you haven't yet locked in a rate or found your property, you still have a great opportunity to do so, especially during this time. There's less competition in terms of number of buyers in the market, although we still see multiple offer situations, but still it's slightly lower than the normal market with the interest rates low. So there will be a good chance for you to lock in a good interest rate and to get in contract on your hopefully dream home. So let me share my screen with you and show you also some forbearance numbers on the US market. Okay, so regarding the concerns versus reality, so we can see that there was a huge concern on the forbearance initially by the Mortgage Bankers Association and First American. They were expecting 30% of the mortgages to go in forbearance or to go in foreclosure eventually. And the actual peak was at 8.6%. And today, currently, we're at an average of 5.67%. And we're going to see in another slide that for the past 2 weeks in November, it's even lower than this number. And comparing the number of new foreclosures, number of consumers with new foreclosures throughout the previous downturns or economic crisis, starting from 1999. So we can see that today is really the lowest point in terms of number of new foreclosures. And the peak was obviously 2008, 9, and 10. And this was a crisis that was led by a real estate market crash, which caused the economic crisis. So, and looking at the trend, so it's obvious that the trend is going down for the number of active forbearance. It's decreasing dramatically. So today, for the past week in November, so 2 weeks in November, we were at 2.86 and we're at 2.74. And this is down from May 29th, which was 4.76. So again, these numbers, of course, these numbers are in million. So this is a great indicator, and this answers the question whether there will be a big foreclosure market or not. In any market, there's always foreclosures, but will there be a huge number of properties for the buyers who are waiting for this to happen? The numbers are telling us that this is far from happening. There will be always, and again, in every market, you can definitely find a great deal. So, and the Mortgage Bankers Association chief economist is saying nearly 2/3 of borrowers who exited forbearance remained current on their payment, repaid their forborne payments, or moved into a payment deferral plan. All of these borrowers have been able to resume or continue their pre-pandemic monthly payments. So again, the real estate market is still in a great shape. And thankfully, there will be no big foreclosure market for the sellers. This is good news for the sellers. And for the buyers, it's still like a great market with the interest rates low. The purchase power is really high. Now let's look at San Mateo County numbers during last week, Thanksgiving week. So we can see that the numbers have dropped, especially with the number of properties that are coming on the market. It dropped almost 35% to 40%. So we're at 69 properties that came on the market, while the week before it was 118. So we're almost 40% lower than the previous week. And the number of active properties that came on the market, single family homes, are 47 properties. The number of properties that went in contract or now pending, with or without contingencies, the total is 102, and the single family homes are 78 properties. So again, we still see that the number of the majority of properties that are going on the market or selling, going in contract, or even closing, the majorities are single family homes. So the main activity is more on the single family homes in San Mateo County. The number of properties that sold or closed escrow are 92 properties, and 67 of them are single family homes. And the number of properties that came off market between canceled, withdrawn, or expired are 42 properties, and 25 of them are single family homes. Now, looking at the absorption rate, which is an artificial equation that we use to try to predict how many days or months do we need to sell the current properties that are on the market. So the number tells us it's 0.99 months, which is 1 month. So the number is going down, which is good news for the sellers. It means it's a big time sellers market. Any number below 4 is a seller's market, and we're at 1. So this is really good. So properties are selling fast. Now let's look at the charts and put these numbers into perspective, and comparing them to previous months during this year and year over year. So let me again share my screen with you. So the number of properties that came on the market, we can see that in November, we could not match October and September. The answer is last week, Thanksgiving week, there are way less, 40% less number of properties that came on the market. So we're now on 28th of November, we're at almost 480 properties. And comparing this year over year, so we can see that last November we were half. So we were 260 or 280, and now we're 480. So this is 50% higher than last year. So we're still doing much better than last year. And the number of the average days on the market for properties to sell, it's taking slightly longer. So in October, we were at 21 days, and in November, we're at 26 days. And comparing this to last year, so November was, so November was October, November. So November was 27 days, while we're at 26 days. So almost the same, which is still a very healthy number for properties to sit on the market. That's really good. And back to this chart, which shows us how stable are property values in today's market and comparing it to previous months and years. So we can see that in November, although it's taking properties slightly few days more to sell, when they go on the market, the property values in terms of price per square foot is very stable. And it's one of the highest months during this year. So we had March was the highest, and then September, and we're still in November, we're still above 1,000 per square foot. So properties are still selling at above 1,000 per square foot in San Mateo County. And comparing this year over year, so in November last year, this is slightly higher than November last year, which is still great news and for sellers, reflecting a very stable property values. And we can see that in some areas in San Mateo County, properties are selling higher than previous months and even previous years. So the average between 4% to 7% increase on the value. So properties are still appreciating. So this is a very interesting market because it's a great time to sell for sellers. Property values are very stable. They're even going high above what we're expecting, and they're selling fast. There's so much demand, huge demand in the market from buyers due to the low interest rates. So rest assured that if your property is marketed correctly, it's priced correctly, then it should sell fast. And for the buyers also, again, it's a great time to buy, to lock in an interest rate. So these are San Mateo County numbers and some information about the forbearance to answer questions about the foreclosure market. If you have more questions about anything related to real estate in this area or about your certain neighborhood, please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to answer your any question. And I'll leave you now. Hopefully you will have an amazing Thanksgiving weekend, and please be safe.